Forging and Engraving's first video. So, first video of the channel, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to make a blacksmith's knife that a customer ordered. And what I've got here is a piece of spring steel. And that I cut in half because I'm going to do two of these things. So, here's our piece of spring steel. Somebody wants a blacksmith's knife or a Viking knife, which is what I usually have on my pocket here. It's going to come out something like that. So what we're actually going to do, I'm actually going to make two of these things because I had to cut this piece of spring steel in half. So one's going to the customer, the other one will go on the Etsy shop. I'll put links and what have you, but no point in doing some long drawn out, this is what I want to do with my channel video. Nobody wants to see talking anyway, so let's just make a knife. First things first, this steel is too short, too fat, and not thin enough to make a knife out of. Switch it around and back in it goes. Okay, bring it out a little further. Bring it out longer. Whoop. I think I need to make new tongs. That's why I wear safety glasses. Alright, so it's pretty well long enough. Kind of got a fat spot in the middle. Guess we'll fix that. Okay. Okay, so this is the piece that I drew out of that spring. That spring is really thick material, so I drew it out. And I actually cut it in half because it was double this length. So I was like, I don't need that for one knife. I guess we're making more than two. But like I said, this one's going to be one for a customer, one will be on the Etsy shop. So if you see this video and you're interested, check the Etsy shop. You never know. I'm actually going to end up having probably 2 on there because I had so much leftover metal. And then one for the customer. Okay. Pick a half to be a handle, pick a half to be a blade, and start bringing it in. This is always an issue. Okay, so we got our 2 halves established. Can't really see that, I suppose, but there. Very basic knife shape. Back in it goes. Okay, so we're going to work a little further on this front end here. Alright, so now we got essentially the neck. Now we need to draw out what will end up being the handle. Let's bring that handle section out of the way. That's a little bit. Okay, so now we want to draw this son out. Alright, even out the back end. Could be hotter, but I think we're going to use the horn to go faster here. Correction at the face a little bit. Sorry you can't see that. A little dirty, but we'll clean it up. Okay, let's do some cleanup. Bring this out just a little further. Get a better taper in it. Not too much of a paper. Get octagon in it. Make sure it's straight. Okay, just a little bit on this end. Okay, round it up. See, that's looking pretty good on that section. Got a little bit. Okay, more rounding. I'd say that is a good point. Maybe do a little bit here on the inside. And not too far up though, because I don't want to mess with the spine. Mine are cleaning in this area. Okay, now we're going to move on to the blade side. Okay. Even this neck and blade out a little bit. Didn't go too far. Alright, so now that we're getting there, I'm going to start putting the curve of the blade in. Okay, for the curve of the blade edge, you want to be out here. I'm going to bring it down at an angle. The edge of the anvil. Keep it straight. That sometimes happens. I want this to kind of be a straight edge on here. If I can get a grip on it, I need new tongs. Okay. Definitely need new tongs. But we managed. That out a bit. Alright, now we have our blade. Take care of that hump in the rear end later on. Get that straightened out. So we have our blade shape. It's relatively even. Tapers a little bit towards the other edge. Straighten that out. It's easier to work if it's straight. But there we go. About halfway now. We're going to start to bring this guy around towards the blade edge. Some more heat on it. Okay. So I'm using I've got a smaller anvil here that I use for this because I like the size of the horn. So that's pretty much brought around, but it doesn't meet that edge where we want it to. So I'm going to get some more heat on it, and we're going to bring that forward. Might need to actually bring it out a little bit and curve that back in more, but that can easily be done. And then I'm going to drive it into that curve and kind of clean up that loop. Looking good. Bring it in. Kind of like doing a scroll. In this case, I'm going to snag a pair of pliers to even it out. Oh, bigger pair of pliers. So I can bring this out a little bit. And then bring this down. And hit towards the back. Flatten it. Try to keep it straight. Good hot side, and I'm going to use the ball peen on here. Kind of drive that edge in. Flatten it. Start pushing it in. Flatten it a little bit. That ought to have a pretty good hold. I think I'm going to bring this in a little bit. Like that. There we go. Little further. Okay, here we go. Straighten it. Drive it in. Yeah, I may have to clean that up a little bit, but that's alright, we can do that. Might actually do the trick. Very light heat. Just want to do a little cleanup. Straightening. That just about does it. A little different handle design than normal, but I feel like it'll hold real well. So now it's going to go back in the fire for some finishing work. Okay. So this customer wants a peened design. Not a hammer face, peen. You know, the little marks in there. That's the style they're looking for. So, take my ball peen. Carefully make our design. You don't have to hit very hard. It doesn't need to be too cluttered. But essentially, that's kind of hard to see in the camera, but you can see that. Okay, now we'll do the other side. Straighten it a little bit. Clean up the back side. Each side wants to flatten when you do that. Alright, there we go. We got a second side done. Now we're going to get a bevel started in it, make our lives easier at the grinder. Okay, we're going to put a bevel in it. We'll start further back because the whole thing doesn't have a bevel. Might be a little cleanup. Okay, so now the other side. Clean up on the blade edge. Even it out. Finally. Restore some of those peen marks that we lose against the anvil face. Alright, that's good. Now we're going to straighten it. Now we make sure it's straight. Dang, I think it's pretty straight. I must have done a good job. Maybe a little bit there. The other side. Yeah, shoot dang. That thing basically straight. Come out good. Not much to do on that. Had a fat spot. Okay. One last good heat. And then a slow cool. Put a bucket of sand. And now we let it anneal. Now that we got our knife shaped, we're going to start to grind in the bevels. Just the primary. We'll do the secondary later. I already started a little bit because I actually made this jig, which is pretty basic. There's a YouTube video. I forget the guy that did it, but it's works real good. Anyway, so we'll show a little bit of grinding, but in reality, y'all don't want to sit and just watch sparks. So we'll do a little bit of that, and then we'll come back when it's ready to be heat treated and stamped and oil quenched. Alright, we got our basically finished shaped knife here after grinding. I'll put a little bit of the grinding in there, but it's not the interesting part, so it's not very interesting to just sit and watch somebody grind. So there's our first bevel. Now we're going to go in and we're going to heat treat it and quench it, and then it'll be time for the temper. The fire is cleaned up, and we're going to put this thing in upright because I got a little thin on that first bevel, but we're going to put it in upright, and I'm going to let it heat fairly slowly. But I think for this first heat, I got to get my touch mark on there. And just pick a side here. I don't believe it particularly matters. And get this in here. That one. Alright. Straighten everything back out. Looking good. I believe this leaf spring is somewhere in the neighborhood of 5160. So somewhere, something like 1500 degrees is a good quench temperature. So you kind of got to eyeball it. Move it up here. That's looking pretty good. We're going to go ahead and dunk it. smoke burn off a little bit so it doesn't flare on me. Okay, we should have a good quenched blade now. Let this kind of cool off a little bit. And I'll just quench the rest of it here. And there we go. That is quenched. Clean up. Got this little toaster oven. It's set to about 375. Here is our quenched knife that I took to the wire wheel just to clean it up a little bit from the oil. Now we're going to temper it. I'll probably leave it in here for something like an hour or two. Now it's time to clean up the initial bevels that we put into it. Alright, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the video. Throw me a like, throw me a dislike, questions, comments, anything like that. Here's 2 of the 3 knives finished and done. So check out the next video. It's going to be the sheaths. Hit a subscribe.